The views expressed in the following podcasts are currently under investigation by the Canadian Human Rights Tribunal, the Canadian Environmental Commission, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, and, for some reason, the Special Committee on the Situation with regards to the implementation of the Declaration of Granting Independence to Colonial Countries and Peoples. Yes, that is a real thing. They do not reflect the views of our employers, spouses, friends, colleagues, or our sober selves. Complaints about this podcast can be written to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest, Washington, D.C. 20500, care of Jared Kushner. Your mileage may vary. Welcome to Two and Change. The people are real, the drinking is real, and the opinions, unfortunately, are also real.
Dude, what's with the music?
New format, Josh. We're shaking things up a bit.
Is there no skip today?
Not tonight, Mike. Not unless you count on what we're doing right now. You got your lines. You know what to do.
On today's show, we talk about how cutting your cable means cutting out the middleman when it comes to getting your entertainment.
But first, we talk about how Canada's new Democratic Party's woes could spell trouble for the Conservatives in next year's election.
New format, same old host, twice the mediocrity. Cue the music.
Evening, this is Mike. I am drinking today a Pinnacle vodka. I'm taking a double, triple, quadruple shot of that because we're doing a new format and it's going to be all kinds of fun.
Got to be all kinds of drunk for the all kind of new format.
All kinds.
And of course, this is Tim. I'm still drinking some Wayne Gretzky ice cask.
Still.
Mediocre.
He's not again drinking. He's still.
He's never stopped drinking for the last
I
podcast.
never stopped drinking.
You know what?
It's been a week straight.
And because I'm still apparently having stomach issues, I'm also drinking oolong tea.
This may never even make it to air, Josh. We don't know what's going on.
Yay!
New format, new show.
Which means over to you, Josh.
If you're joining us for the first time, we're three Canadians with three different views, settling arguments, and some of us are right, some of us are not, in the most Canadian way possible, over a drink.
As you can tell, tonight is a bit of an experiment with our format. Rather than sticking to one topic, we're going to tackle a couple, and we're even going to introduce a reoccurring segment, but hey, more on that later.
We pick the topics in advance, glance them over, and do exactly zero amount of research per our bylaws. This is a fact-free show that strives for the height of mediocrity.
The height.
Rule is, whoever pitched the idea has to introduce it. So I'm guessing it's over to you, Tim.
That's right. Okay, so I read this article on the CBC that says, if the NDP does well, the Conservatives do well. If the NDP does bad, the Conservatives do bad. If you don't know what those political parties are, oh my God, you stumbled onto the wrong podcast. I'm kidding. Please keep listening.
Exactly. We love you. Welcome. And up in Canada, we have three parties, not two.
We have 4, 5, 6.
I think we technically have 24 or something like that.
And they all deserve equal time and equal funding.
The marijuana party is basically irrelevant now, so we don't count
It
them.
is, yeah.
I know, right?
Have they deregistered yet? They kind of don't need to be there anymore. The
Well, they can
Rhinoceros
still
Party
have it.
also did the same thing. They were in favor of legalizing as well, which is pretty much
Did they
their own-
deregister?
I don't know, but they had another campaign promise.
But
Their
when
other
they do
campaign
well,
promise.
do the Conservatives do well?
I'm not sure.
So the idea is that basically the NDP and the Liberals eat basically from the same buffet.
Yeah.
The Liberals.
Sure.
And so a weak NDP means a strong Liberal Party, which means
A weak Conservative Party.
Conservative Party.
Sure.
I don't know. You put any stock in this?
Well, I yes and no. I think historically the numbers don't lie, but I think
Numbers don't lie, Josh.
numbers don't lie.
Numbers don't lie.
Numbers don't lie. So neither do my hips, but mostly numbers.
Your hips lie to
Yeah.
you.
Well, you know what? You know what? Shakira.
Twirly and whirly.
Okay.
That's what I call them.
Twirly and whirly. Well, there you go.
There you have it.
I call them Gimpy and
Noodle.
Limpy, but that's a whole
Gimpy and
nother
replacement candidate. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
thing. Anyways.
Gimpy and try and get some marrow.
Hey-o.
Oh, that's not fun. That's painful. Okay. Yeah. So, anyways, the numbers don't lie.
Tasty.
But I do think there's a lot of orange Tories out there, and
Yeah.
vice versa. So orange Tories and
and blue.
And
blue
how would you
Democrats.
define an orange Tory versus like a blue dipper?
It's social versus fiscal. That's what it is. Like there's people who are socially New Democrat but fiscally conservative, and vice versa.
And people who are socially conservative but fiscally New Democrat?
Yeah, that actually is the thing that exists.
Like, so both of them?
Well, no,
Like, I can't imagine it's more like two people.
it's
in that
mostly
category.
one way, not so much the other one.
Yeah, I'd say.
yeah, or even if I mean,
See, I hate this idea though that we keep saying, "Oh, well, I'm a social liberal or I'm socially liberal, but I'm fiscally conservative." Show me a conservative government that's actually managed to balance the frickin' book.
Show me a liberal one that has.
I'm not a liberal.
I can show you a bunch of NDPer ones that have, though.
Yep.
What do you mean? The NDP have never held power federally.
They've balanced every provincial budget they've had.
Provincial budget. Yeah.
Then again, so I mean, I guess there's a little more cohesion between the federal NDP and provincial NDP than, say, like the provincial Liberals and the federal Liberals, because it's almost like they're their own thing.
Well, they are their own thing. In fact, I'm actually surprised to hear that the federal and provincial NDPs are not their own thing. They're not their own thing?
Well, they are, but I mean, I think there's a little bit more cohesion between. I see you twitching your face.
No, not really. Like federal, a great example is Rachel Notley's NDP in Alberta,
which would be almost like an orange Tory.
Yeah,
sure.
much.
Yeah.
Well, she had. You cannot be a. Well, then again, she's had some more liberal fiscal policies.
She is not going to hold the re-election.
I think she can.
She will not. She
think-
will not be reelected.
I don't. I think she still stands a good chance, because the thing is that you have an increasingly young urban electorate in Alberta, and they overwhelmingly support the NDP.
Oh my God, my taxes!
You know what? The way that the polls are right now, I bet my batleth on it. I do not think the NDP will.
I can't bet my batleth. That's wedding. That's wedding gear for me.
There you go. Yeah, and for me, it's something
not
that my
allowed
wife
to.
tolerates me having. That's all.
Kind of like you.
Yep.
She tolerates.
Somehow
it.
Josh's eyes glazed over as well at the very mention of batleths. We're going to get you one someday. We're going to pool our resources. We're going to get you a batleth, and then we'll have one, all three of us. It'll be like a badge of merit for being on the show.
I
or
am
something.
not putting a sharp weapon in my house.
We'll get you a blunted batleth.
We'll put like little corks
Or
on
I'll
the
die.
pointy ends.
I'll die at the hands
Oh
of
my
my
God!
kids somehow.
We're gonna make him a Nerf batleth.
A what?
A Nerf one.
Actually, you know what? Those do exist.
Well, they have like the simulated games.
So sad.
They do.
Yes. Okay, so we're saying yes, the numbers don't lie, but do we think the NDP right now is weak, meaning a weak conservative party, or think there's something else going on right now?
I think the NDP is very weak, and believe it or not, I think that the Conservatives have actually pulled some support from the NDP, perhaps more than the Liberals have. Although, that said, here's the thing. The Liberals ate the NDP's lunch, and at the time, we saw that as them undoing the Orange Wave. I think it was more because the NDP took it away from the Bloc Québécois, and then the Bloc Québécois just never got it back.
Yeah, because what happened is I think that the Orange Wave was more a referendum on the Bloc Québécois than an affirmation of NDP policy.
Which is why when they were done with the NDP...
I see Josh shaking your head. You'll get a chance here.
Yeah.
But what I think, too, is that the reason you had a young, charismatic leader that was running to the left, then you had old grandpa... what's his face? Mulcair running on trying to pull the NDP to the center.
Yeah.
NDP doesn't do well from the center.
They don't do well, period. Let's be real here. Come on.
They do well. They just have not hold federal power.
So they don't do well. Yet.
Well,
I don't know. I think they're done. I think the
they're
federal
not
NDP are done.
How many times has that been said?
yeah, they're not done yet.
Well, no,
So-
look, they made a classic mistake. They became party Jack Layton. And then when Jack Layton died, they lost their spine. Thomas Mulcair could not carry the party. It's not even anything against him per se. And then Justin Trudeau ate his lunch, and the NDP, they're done.
They thought, okay, maybe having a mature statesman would help legitimize the party, but no, not when you're running against Justin fucking Trudeau.
Right.
Yeah, you needed Angry Tom. But no, I will challenge the Bloc Québécois.
What do you mean you are going to honor this coupon? It only expired a year ago.
Exactly.
I think
That was the problem with his perception.
I think it's a bit of a shame that the NDP often gets that label because the numbers actually don't reflect that.
You don't think so?
No, because
Most people support
because
NDP social and fiscal policies.
They want
But they don't see them as credible.
No, they run 103 seats. They only won 40 of those seats.
Yeah.
In Quebec, they run an additional.
How many seats were they holding before
30
that election?
They won an additional 30 something seats, not in Quebec.
Yeah.
So the wave was starting, and the numbers were most interesting out on the West Coast. But so some of the votes stayed home, seeing the results come in. So there was a lot of building. Had there been another election with Jack Layton, he by far would have won.
I think Jack
maybe I
Layton
should
could
be-
have been prime minister.
Maybe I should clarify my point a little bit. The NDP's wave, yes, they did pick up seats elsewhere, but their success in Quebec had precious little to do with an affirmation of the NDP policy. That's what
That was a referendum, like you said, on the Bloc Québécois.
So
And
who
I
don't
don't
do
know.
anything.
No, so there was a lot of things that also don't get seen. So Jack Layton had been laying groundwork specifically in Quebec for years. He spent most of his time on the ground in Quebec before the 2011.
Going to every rub and tug in Montreal.
But perception
Absolutely.
is, but in Canadian politics, perception is reality. So like you say, the
Absolutely.
perception is that it was a referendum on Bloc Québécois. Therefore, that's what it was. Whether the numbers are actually dealing that out or not, that's what it was.
Perception is not reality in politics.
Yeah, but no, it is reality because perception manifests into something. I mean, talk to the average person on the street that doesn't give a rat's ass about politics. They only see the effects of politics.
Or if you like-
and they look for someone to blame when things don't go right.
If you
Perception
prefer-
was reality, we wouldn't have Donald Trump. Because people perceived him as a candidate that would drop out early
no.
on. That he was saying-
People perceived Donald Trump as a strong man who was people bought into the fear and the hype. They need a strong man to come save them. That was supposed to be Donald Trump. Cadet Bone Spurs was going to come in and save them. Are you kidding me?
I don't know. I actually think Donald Trump might have been a little bit more complicated than that. I think that there was a silent majority that got very pissed off with Hillary Clinton, is what I think
No,
happened.
well, here's the thing.
And with the establishment at large, but also with Hillary Clinton. Like, even
There's nothing wrong with Hillary Clinton. The thing is with Hillary
basket
Clinton.
of deplorables. That's what was wrong with Hillary Clinton. That comment was unforgivable.
Excuse me, we're talking about a group of electorate who openly support having people talk about.
That's not who she was talking about. She was talking about anybody and everyone who was supporting Donald Trump for any reason,
And I agree with her.
which made them, by default, racist, pig-headed pigs.
Well, what would you call somebody who tolerates a racist, pig-headed asshole in charge?
Someone who doesn't trust Hillary.
So you'd rather vote in a racist?
Don't get me wrong.
And Hillary
I'm not,
Clinton.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not happy that Trump won.
I'm not-
I'm very
I
happy
know
that
you're
she
not,
lost, though.
but
Because
here's the thing.
You know what I would call people who would support someone like Donald Trump? You know who I call them?
Racists.
Americans who are also entitled to their own vote and their own voice. And when you call them a basket of deplorables because of the views that they hold, that's anti-American. Whether you agree with them or not, you're allowed to disagree
Only
with
if you're
them.
saying the American view at large is racist.
I will say that.
Yeah, and yeah.
All right, cheers to that. All right.
Exactly, right?
And there goes our American listeners. Anyway.
No, not even necessarily. I mean, look, they have a racism problem in America. I don't think that any honest American will deny that there's a systemic racism problem in America.
Oh, I think there are many who do, and that's part of the problem.
I don't know.
And
about that.
actually, those basket of deplorables, the ones marching around with tiki torches yelling, Jews will not replace us, and blood and soil and
they are
Charleston.
not a big enough majority that they on their own elected Trump.
Yet-
there was a silent,
Yet you're-
moderate majority.
Oh, I'm so sick of the whole silent majority thing.
But that's what it was. That's
silent
why CNN
majority is a
wasn't
bunch
able
of
to-
bullshit.
That's why CNN wasn't
No,
able
this
to-
is the problem. If did not vote ran on the ballot, did not vote would have won. And that is the fundamental problem with democracy.
The silent
I said it before and I said it again. Democracy simply does not work.
Silent majorities. Silent majority is always
Simpsons.
it's such an annoying thing because it's like, oh, there's a silent majority, just like there's like all the people. Who,
Well, a silent majority of people
yeah.
tell me I want to drive Josh's car and crash into
Yeah.
a lake. Silent majority.
Hey, you
Yeah,
know what?
can't prove
you
it.
know what? You know what's really we have to concern
But we
ourselves
can prove
with?
it at the ballot
all
box.
those crimes that aren't going reported.
Yeah.
The unreported.
Oh, the
crime.
unreported crimes. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
those rates are going through the
Oh,
roof.
and
They
the
are.
illegal immigrants voting. Oh, yeah. Well, we have all these reports. I mean, of course, the mainstream media is not going to report on it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the problem with
and quite
you
honest-
have to have this thing called evidence.
Well, but here's the thing. You want evidence for the silent majority?
Yes.
Look at the ballot box. Trump won.
No,
There's your evidence.
Trump didn't win.
Because none of the poll. What do you look? Is he or is he not the president of the United States?
What happened?
He won.
If this was a true,
He
fair
won.
democracy,
He won.
There's no way. What? No, everybody lost in that system. Is what happened.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that
that
America is
system
better
has
off for it.
that system has one winner, and about 359 million losers.
Sure.
That's the problem with the system.
I don't know. I think Mike Pence might have been a winner too.
No.
The man who he calls his wife mother and doesn't eat mayo because it's too spicy.
And in the age of Me Too, in the age of hashtag Me Too, will not be alone with any woman anywhere for any reason. I actually do respect at least that.
No, why would you?
That's
so
ridiculous
stupid.
and absurd.
Well, because he's
Are you- that- that's
protecting
like saying-
himself from some kind of false accusation. Who knows?
Oh, bullshit. If you I've been alone with many women. I've never been falsely accused of anything.
I know, but you're
You know
not the
why?
vice president of the United States.
Yeah, but Obama was never accused of raping somebody. He was with women alone. Clinton, okay, maybe not.
Yeah,
Bill Clinton.
wait, where are
Bill
you
Clinton
going?
was alone with. Well,
Yeah, he was. With one woman anyway, at least. Yeah. Then again, for all we know, there were people watching.
Yeah, it's
Where are the
stupid. It's
cameras
also
in the White
to me that's also demeaning to women because it's like saying, "Oh, I can't be alone with a member of the opposite sex. This is what happened." Blah, blah, blah. It's
sexist in and of
it's
itself.
sexist.
It is. But I mean,
incredibly sexist.
look, it happened again just recently. Remember there was that fighter, the UFC fighter, who like won't even allow someone to approach him because he's afraid of getting accused of something.
And again, if you live a life that's a problem, it's nothing to do with your station.
No, like because
It's
it
everything
happened.
to do with.
It happened. So when you win a UFC fight, there's the girl who comes up and she's wearing almost nothing, which on its own is like presenting these women as objects, but whatever. And
It's a gladiator fight. It's designed to.
and
it's all
he
testosterone.
and he gave her a hug because that's what you were supposed to do. But I guess he was high on adrenaline, whatever. And I guess the way that he wrapped his arm around her and pulled her close or whatever, and then she
did he
diffused him-
outfranken her?
And then no, he didn't. He didn't. Like it was like if you look at the video evidence, it's ridiculous that he was accused of anything. But
okay.
But then the next time he wins a fight, the girl comes out and he's like, "No, don't come near, don't come near." And like they were trying to push it on him. It was crazy.
Okay, and we're gonna have to leave it there till we go to
are.
break. Yes, we are. And here's the thing. I don't think we were in the NDP, but hey, we went into a funny direction. So when we come
did.
back, we are introducing our new segment,
Yay!
Weekly TF. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
And a happy winter season to all our 2 and Change listeners. I hope you're continuing to check out Facebook for our live beer advent calendar updates.
And happy Festivus to everyone. Make sure you're checking out my updates and suggestions for books next year.
The hell is wrong with you people? Having a Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry
Hope you're
Christmas. We are at war, Mike.
At war.
War.
I hope everyone is enjoying their Christmas and the show. Have a fantastic rest of your day.
And whatever else you celebrate. Welcome to the second half of our show. Before we talk about cord cutting, it's time for our new segment, Weekly TF.
Each week, we're going to round up the weirdest WTF news from the week we can find so you, the audience, don't have to.
At the end of the list, we're going to vote on the most messed up thing we could find.
It's a public service for the most part.
All right, welcome to Weekly the
So the lump of metal they used to define the kilogram has gotten slightly lighter by about a human eyelash. So they're changing the kilogram to some mathematical formula? That's math. You can't change math.
I can. 1 + 1 is 3. I just did. What are you going to do about it?
I'm going to sue your ass.
Deal with it. All right, and we found this other article, Dirty Farty Party. So Gary Anderson and Wesley Harms have accused each other of farting during a darts competition in order to outgas their opponent. Apparently, he who smelt it dealt it no longer applies.
Testosterone fuel.
Testosterone and nachos.
All right, well, blowing up the bathroom. Let's face it, guys, racism is pretty shitty.
Heyo.
The New Orleans PD were called in after a black man said he was going to, and I quote, drop a bomb in the bathroom. He was referring to pooping. He was arrested. I have to say that kind of stinks.
How much Chipotle did a guy like that have to eat in order to walk into some other restaurant and say
I thought that would stop you up and not make you go.
or something. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, move over video game characters. A Japanese groom paid $18,000 US to marry a hologram. If you think that's expensive, wait until you see the DLC. He said that he was not worried about his wife cheating or dying on him.
We got to worry about viruses.
Cyber crabs.
Cyber crabs. And we saw this article earlier about a bedazzled pigeon making his way back home. Now, here's definitely a feel-good story. So basically, somebody found a pigeon wearing a bedazzled vest. It was in Arizona. It was missing its owner. Found its way home to, I guess, I don't know, Liberace?
Probably.
Who finds a bird wearing literal jewelry and doesn't take the jewelry? Like, what's going to happen? What's the bird going to do? Talk?
Not a parrot.
This is like an Ocean's 11 thing. Okay. All right. Well, you know what? Probably mommy issues, but here's a more messed up mommy issue. So apparently there's a mom who breastfed her daughter until she was age 9. They said it created a lifelong bond.
Lifelong something.
You know what? That's a milk mustache. I'm not sure I'd want to see.
That's nasty. Yeah. Lifelong therapy session.
Yeah, no kidding. Lifelong appointments on Oprah. It's the weirdest one here. I'm going for breastfeeding.
I'm going to go with bedazzled pigeon.
And I'm going to go with poop bomb in New Orleans.
And breastfeeding wins.
What? Well, that was fun. And if you enjoyed that, tune in every week. We come up with more weekly TF headlines for you. Now that that's over with, we can move on to our second topic. Josh, I think you pitched this one.
Yeah. Speaking of scouring the internet for random shit.
The dregs of mediocrity.
Yes, exactly. Well, I was actually on my Amazon Fire Stick and Amazon.
Your what?
Is that a euphemism?
No, it's like it's like a
It's what it's called when you're in
Apple TV.
It's called what happens when you get crabs in Brazil.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
So it's like a Google Chromecast, but it's like Amazon. So it's like an Alexa thing?
How do you not know what this is?
Yeah.
Because I'm a Google guy. I've got Google Home, Google Chromecast all over my house.
It's a fire. It's like
I know what Alexa is.
Yeah,
Do you know what an Android box is?
I do.
it's
Yeah,
just
think
that
like kind of like
just
that.
think like that USB 8 gig USB thing, all the stuff loaded on it. It costs like $40. It's fantastic.
Cool. Actually,
Yeah,
I'll
You
look
have, to
at
have,
that.
directly-
you have to have
plugs
somebody
directly-
crack it though in order to get
I-
No, we're not advocating some of the methods discussed in this.
You know what? It's
segment.
got enough apps and stuff on it.
Everything
you know.
done here was legal in the country it was recorded in.
So, anyways, I've got
Everything's legal. in
I've got
Lithuania,
Amazon.
Let's face it.
Amazon Prime as well as the like half of everyone I know.
It's
Anyways,
just
Amazon
so
Prime and
convenient.
Netflix. Anyways, Amazon
I
Prime.
love how it comes to the postal
I
service.
go to turn on it, and it was like, I don't know, 8 o'clock on a Thursday. And I turn it on, it's like, watch live football, Thursday night football. I'm like, wait, what? Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime has football? And then I click it, and it was, I haven't watched football. I don't really watch sports, right? And I haven't watched
shows.
I haven't watched football since I was a kid. Honestly,
Football.
Oh, like soccer, you mean?
yeah.
Is this the game where they
First
throw
of
a ball
all,
around with their
by
hands
the way,
and call it
guys,
football?
since I was a kid, football coverage has radically changed. One, the quality is way better.
Really?
Really?
But
I wouldn't know.
anyways, the which I guess
I
goes-
don't even go outside most
Yeah.
days.
Anyway, so I'm watching the football game just for shits and giggles, and there's like you can actually use the remote to click and see live updates, who's playing, who's kicking, all these sort of things while the game is playing, and I'm like, this is the end of cable. Like
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Well, I thought the end of cable for us came a long time ago.
Netflix.
When I so Laura had the house before I moved in. She had cable, and then we found ourselves when I moved in just spending more time flipping through channels than actually watching something because there's nothing I wanted to watch.
Yeah, you
so
flip to
became-
one channel, it's a Victoria's Secret commercial. Flip to another one, it's a commercial for the Farmers Agricultural Institution of Ontario.
Oddly enough,
Flip to
Mike
another
jerked off to both.
no comment.
he jerks off to C-SPAN. It doesn't really matter. So,
Oh, come on! I have some standards.
Only
is
during
bill
during
reading
fiscal
number
debates.
3.
Exactly.
Yeah, you fucking told them about that tax cut.
Oh, Nancy Pelosi.
Oh,
Nope.
You dirty, dirty woman, you.
hey, just because we have a new format doesn't mean we're raising our standards. Let's keep this in mind.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
No,
Yeah.
so we actually had somebody who I'm not going to say how, I'm not going to say who, said, you can just get free cable if you do this, this, and this, and he does that, and I'm like, somehow free cable showed up at my house. I don't know how, I don't know where. It just sort of happened. I still didn't watch it. I still didn't. They were giving it away for free.
And you still didn't watch
I
it.
still didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Because it was a pain. I don't want to flip through things. So you know what? Here's the thing. It's not that I don't pay for things. So I've got Crave.
Yeah.
Crave TV. It's like now they've got HBO things, so I've upgraded. So I've got all the HBO shows and everything too.
Oh, really?
In actual time that they show it.
Nice.
So if it shows on HBO that night, it's going to show up on this service now.
See, I'm still behind
Game
on
of
Star
Thrones,
Trek
everything
They've
like that.
updated Crave.
Oh yes, they have.
Yeah.
Do they have
Yes,
Star Trek
it's-
Discovery on there? I'm still
Yes,
behind.
they do.
I'm still behind on Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah,
I've seen
so
the
it's on there.
pilot, and that's it.
Oh, it's good.
I've
It's just not
seen
Star
more of
Trek.
that Star Trek than you have.
Yep. Yeah. I'm serious. I've only seen
Yeah,
the pilot
It's not.
I got to
Star
like
Trek.
the 6th or 7th episode.
because I'm still waiting for it to show up on
So
Netflix.
I've got Crave, I've got Spotify, I've got Netflix, I've got Amazon Prime. So between those those four services,
Yeah.
I pay about like $50 a month for content,
which is like 1/3 of a good cable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
and I don't get the same content, but I don't care because there's only so many reality shows about people picking through trash and pretending to sell it that I really care
Sure,
about.
but we're
Exactly.
talking about TV only. So why I said this is like the definitive. I mean, cable's been dying for a while. But
Live
this-
sports is what they had going for them.
Yeah,
That's
live-
really the biggest thing. And now that Amazon, whatever,
Amazon Prime.
yeah, has
You
live
have a
sports.
Prime membership?
And they partnered. So here's who they partnered with of all places: Fox News
What?
Really?
or Fox Sports.
Yeah, Fox Sports. Yeah.
which is
Not
like
not faux news.
yeah. So Thursday night football now you can watch it with the Prime membership, which costs you $99 a year.
Wow.
And includes all your free shipping and stuff that you get anyway.
Yeah, technically, I don't even need Spotify because I can just use my Google
Prime
Play
Music.
Music.
Yeah,
Google.
yeah.
Or not necessarily Google Play. Yeah, because there's so many. And part of the problem with cord cutting is that now here's the thing. Yes, there are Roku boxes, and yes, there are Android boxes where you get the. Here's the thing. I don't mind paying for content.
Yeah.
I'm an adult.
Sure.
There are other ways content winds up on my computer. I don't know. I wasn't there.
Right.
But really, it just comes down to there was no good channel. Like, I'm not going to spend $12 on one television show.
No.
If you add it to Netflix and add a few things to Netflix and increase the amount of money by $2, $3, $4, that I'm good to go. I don't like where the ecosystem's fragmenting. Say we're gonna have like our own streaming service. That like Disney's doing it.
You get a Disney streaming service
Yeah.
and an HBO streaming service. And
Yeah, I'm
everyone
not a
gets
fan of
channel.
that either.
Yeah, it's a bit of a pain in the ass, but I mean,
People think that's going to stick, and it's not.
But here's
It's
the
not.
thing: what this is
They'll
showing, though,
consolidate into like 3 or 4.
But what this is showing though is that people don't want channels.
No.
They want content.
Exactly.
Why should it matter that this television show is on at 6:30 p.m. on Thursday? Why should that even matter?
Yeah.
In this day and age.
I can tell you that one of the biggest moneymakers of that industry, though, is going to be the hardest one for them to let go of, and that's advertising. Like the amount of money that people spend on advertising, even on cable TV, even today with cable dying. And that's why what I anticipate is going to happen, especially in the States, is that there's going to be a lot of lobbying to try and shut down online streaming services.
And here's the thing, but people will like, so HBO, for example, has some of the most popular shows ever made.
Yes.
Game of Thrones, for example.
Yeah.
Now, that's never had commercials. That's always been a subscription service.
It has, yes.
And I think what it's showing is that there is a model where they can make money. So what if there's less shitty shows about toddlers and tiaras making cupcakes to their abusive
so
mothers?
here's the thing
Who
about-
cares?
In the name of protecting the consumer, I can convince the government to do almost anything. And that's where I'm worried about what the lobby groups are going to do with this.
Why would they care about streaming services? Like, they're smart.
They
Like
care
CBS,
about
for
protecting
example.
the industry standard and the status quo. That's
So-
what they're interested in doing. And
Yes,
whether that
and
means-
the buggy whip makers were interested in keeping the cars off the road too. It doesn't mean it's going to have it. They're going to have any success.
the buggy makers didn't have extremely powerful lobby groups. That's what I'm worried about.
Fuck yeah, they did.
No, they didn't.
All kinds of things had big, powerful lobby groups, man. Like bicycles, like literal
the
bicycles.
bicycle lobby.
The
That had
bicycle
a
lobby group?
bicycle lobby, man.
And
Like,
this
it's
was back in the
always-
day of like the ridiculous bicycles with the one big wheel and the little wheel. Well, who thought that was a good design?
I thought it was 2 little wheels and 1 big wheel.
That's a tricycle.
Yeah, I know, but like, wasn't that a thing?
That's all he writes.
You know what?
That's all the medical professionals would ever let him
You know,
ride.
the only 2-wheel vehicle I'm interested in right now is one of those like hoverboard Segway things with the handlebars. I want one of those.
Oh, the hoverboard. They call
yeah,
it.
they call it a hoverboard, which
I think
it's
stupid name.
name. Yeah,
Stupid
it
name.
doesn't hover, but
But
I
it
mean,
catches on fire quite frequently.
What?
Yeah, you
hear
didn't know about this?
No.
Well, so anything comes out, then there can be a bunch of cheap Chinese knockoffs of it. Well, it's all Chinese stuff, but cheap
Yeah,
Chinese
yeah.
stuff. But there's some even cheaper knockoffs where they had battery issues.
Oh, and the battery was
Battery,
bursting into
yeah,
flames.
because they're using the cheapest they could find.
Using
I don't know why that makes
Samsung
me
batteries.
happy. Yeah, exactly. I don't know why that makes me happy. It just makes me happy.
You ever see the mods to like, I think it was like GTA 5 where they're throwing like Samsung Galaxy 7s
Yes.
as grenades.
Exactly. It was working really well. I don't know. For
Back
some
in the
reason,
day.
the idea of this pretentious hipster on a Segway hoverboard going on the sidewalk and suddenly bursting into flames, it makes me really happy. I don't know why.
Well, and here's the cool thing with these
my
subscription services.
espresso.
Oh, my mustache wax is adding to the flames. Oh no, my kombucha, it's like a Molotov cocktail.
Oh my word, kombucha. My wife tried to get me to drink that stuff. I found this creature growing in our pantry. I'm just like, darling, what is this? And she explained to me that it's a bacterial culture that's used to make tea, and she's making it so that I can.
She's making it herself.
Yes, it was a kit that she bought off of some website somewhere, and I told her flat out, I'm not drinking.
You know
thought
what?
he looks a little paler.
Most kombucha's at least 0.5% alcohol. What your wife really is making, and you haven't realized,
Booze.
she's making toilet wine, dude.
It was unbelievable. Like there was
Just
this
be worried if she starts making shifts.
There was this disc of bacteria-like stuff, and it was this culture that was like somehow turning it into tea. And she's like, "Yeah, it's good for you." I says, "No, not going to happen. This thing grows, it reproduces, it grows
Yeah.
another one that you use for the next one.
well,
this thing
then
is
again,
alive. I'm not drinking it."
That's how you make bread.
Every kimchi,
What's that?
kimchi,
Kimchi.
same process.
What's kimchi?
It's like a Korean fermented cabbage dish.
Have
It's
you ever
good.
had kimchi?
I have never had kimchi.
I've got some. We'll take some.
As a general
We've
rule,
got a bonus coming up.
As a general rule,
We're
if
gonna eat
it
some
moves
kimchi.
under a microscope by itself, I usually don't eat it.
Do you eat yogurt?
No, I don't actually.
Oh.
I don't eat
Milk?
yogurt. I don't eat cheese. Milk is a very
Wow.
rare thing for me. Yeah, I know. I have no bones actually. I've replaced them all with titanium. Yeah.
All right. So, final thing with the streaming services. Have you seen that this is the wave of the future? Even Microsoft has like a game streaming service now.
Yeah.
Technology is good enough to do this.
Yep.
It's the wave of the future, people.
It is.
It's gonna suck if you live in a rural area.
Yeah.
What's your TV? I don't have it anymore. They cut cable.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, but if they can get cable to, they should.
I've got bunny ears. Remember bunny ears? I remember those. You had to like kick the side of the TV to get the picture to come in half clear.
Well, I remember when HDTV was coming out and people were complaining, "Oh, it's a human rights problem that they're transitioning over. What about the people who don't have a modern television?"
Get a modern television.
Get a modern television. Yeah. I always thought it was a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
TV's not a human right. I'm sorry. It's not.
No, I mean water, internet for some reason. Yes, but
Yep. I can even get behind the idea of internet as a human right. TV? No, I'm not. You can't get me there.
well, not cable.
Certainly not cable. Certainly not that.
Maybe scrambled 80s porn.
Porn is a human right.
Do you guys
form a
remember
lobby group?
Do you guys remember the tube things you had to put on like to get certain channels and stuff on the actual?
What?
Like yeah, so if you got cable packages back in the 90s, you had like these what looked like sort of cathode tubes, like on a tube
Radio
amp.
cathode tubes.
Yeah. So you would put them on a cable.
I
and it would
grew
get
up-
you, like HBO and shit.
No, I grew up where there was running water, Josh. I don't know what you're talking about.
To be honest, I'm drawing
We
a blank
had
on this one
indoor
as well.
plumbing in our place.
Now, I say this as someone who grew up never having had cable, like never, because I always grew up in like this environment, and like we had an aerial antenna, like one of those giant 2-story antennas that was strapped to the side of the house.
Guys, he goes to home
It
in a
only-
buggy.
Yeah, yeah, that was how I grew up.
It got two channels: the one with the Protestant preacher and the one with the other Protestant preacher, the one we don't talk about.
But
The
then we
angry
adjusted
one.
the aerial antenna, and we got some very interesting content. Let me tell you. And
The
Scrambled
news
80s porn.
and the news from Detroit.
actually, yes, from where we were, we could get it. It was a really good
Oh,
antenna.
Well, we're coming to the end of this episode, so we hope you really enjoyed this new, exciting, whatever the hell format this was.
And if you didn't, screw you. I enjoyed this new format. I really had a good time.
Yeah, well, it keeps the conversation fresh, keeps it from getting stale. But if you have some feedback, let us know. Check out our website, twoandchange.ca. You can drop a comment, send us an email, read our blog.
Tell us Mike is wrong.
Also,
if your feedback is that Josh's mic wasn't working this entire episode, don't send us that.
we know, we cut it. Also, make sure you check us out on Facebook. We post a lot of content there that doesn't even make it to our website sometimes.
That's right.
Also, keep listening. Spotify, iTunes, Podbean,
Play.
Google Play, wherever you want to get your podcast. Anyway, for Two and Change, I'm Tim.
I'm Mike.
I'm Josh.
We'll see you next time.
Kombucha, tea, really? That stuff is alive. It is a living organism.
It's called a culture. I eat yogurt. I eat kimchi. I eat milk.
I do not eat kimchi. I do not eat yogurt.
Could you with a fox?
I would not.
Could you
not with
would
a
you
box.
with a box?
I would not in a box. Not in a box. Not in a box. Not with a
You
house.
don't wanna eat it in
Not in a house. Not with a mouse. I would not eat it here or there. I would not eat it anywhere. I would not eat kimchi.
Kombucha and kimchi.